Hello and welcome to watch this video. I'm Goharshad, your host, and in this conversation with my guests, Sophie and Piero, we are going to walk you through the student life in the city of Oulu and Finland. We are going to discuss different aspects of a student life so that we can help future students understand what they can expect from their journey here. Let's start with an introduction. Hello and welcome. And please, when you're introducing yourself, mention that for how long you've been here.
Hello, I am Sophie. I'm from the UK originally. I have been here since August of this year. I'm a first year student and I'm studying on the Learning, Education and Technology Masters program.
Welcome.
I'm Piero. I come from Italy and I'm a first year student in the DICE program, Computer Science and Engineering, and I came here in late August.
Welcome, Piero. I can't wait to hear your experiences and insights on our topics. And let's dive in and start with arrival. Arrival in a new country and city can be exciting and overwhelming both. I'm curious, how was your experience?
So I flew into Helsinki first and had a connecting flight to Oulu. So in Helsinki, I had to go through the passport control and I was a little nervous that I wouldn't have everything that they would require. But actually it was fine. They asked me really simple questions and I had all the paperwork and my residence permit to show them, so that was fine. And then I got my connecting flight to Oulu. And when I landed and collected my bags, I was a little overwhelmed. I think the stress of the traveling was my main focus. And then when I arrived, I was suddenly like, oh my goodness, I'm actually here. But as soon as I found my way to my apartment and got my keys and got in and started to organize myself, I was very much more relaxed and happy to be here.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Piero?
I arrived straight to Oulu, and it was a beautiful experience. I got straight to my house, and I got help by the student tutor. He gave me my keys. I got into the apartment, and it was so exciting. It was a very emotional moment because it was also the first time living by myself. After that, I started connecting with people that I met through a university app before the classes. And yeah, I started hanging out with them, and then the classes started.
I'm so glad that you brought up the topic of student tutors, because for me, like you, it was a really huge, heartwarming experience that I knew someone is waiting for me. Yeah. I'm not sure about other cities or countries, but it's not like this in my own country. It was a totally new concept. And I was really glad that beforehand and before coming here, I know someone and I can ask questions, and she or he is going to take my keys. It's really helpful. And is there anything that you wish you'd known before coming?
Definitely the ice spikes. I went hiking with my friends one day and we went out of the car and it was so frozen we couldn't even walk outside, and so we had to go by them, and it was something that I never even imagined of. I never even thought of needing. They are essential for walking in the ice. So yeah, a very lifesaver.
Yeah, and that's why talking with people and hearing their experience really helps.
Yeah.
What about you, Sophie? Is there anything that you wish you'd known beforehand?
I think I just wish I'd have known how easy it would be. I think I am a bit of a worrier, so I was kind of nervous about the whole thing, and did lots of prep beforehand and researched lots of things, but actually it was fine. Everything was relatively easy, and there's lots of people here to help you. Like we mentioned, the student tutors. And the teachers and just everyone around is really helpful. So just not to be so worried and to just enjoy the experience, I think I wish I'd have known.
Yeah, but I think future students are lucky now that you already told them that don't worry and just enjoy the experience. For those who are coming as students like ourselves, being integrated to the new academic setting is a really, really big step. And for me, it was a quite different experience to study here, because here, at least in my study program, emphasis is on hands-on activities and delivering projects and collaboration within multicultural teams. So you're going to work with people from different backgrounds and different working styles. So for me to fit in, I had to communicate really openly, and it was a new experience for me. I had to be flexible, I had to be open, I had to be really clear, because when you're from different backgrounds, if you are not clear enough, it can be really hard and misunderstandings can happen. Also, I really appreciate that I got some skills that I couldn't guess. For example, project management skills, that is really essential in my studies. And I got to learn them during the work. And I really appreciate this experience. Meanwhile, I know that it can be challenging. So how do you see it?
I can agree with everything you've said. Definitely the multicultural aspect of everything and having clear communication is key. I think for me, the difference from my previous studies is that it's much more about the process here, not necessarily just focus on the outcome of the project or the presentation that you give, but how you are learning along the way. So one of the first assignments is to do a reflective diary and talk about what you're learning about, how it relates to your previous experiences. And doing that really has helped me to see my learning and my progression through the course. And that's been really nice for me. So it's something now that I have adopted for all of my courses, and I reflect lots about everything that I'm doing. And it's really nice to have that chance to think about your learning and really relate it back to yourself as well as the content from the lessons. So that's been really good for me.
Really exciting. And I like the way you're looking at the reflection assignments and adopt it and personalized it, we can say. What about you, Piero?
This is my first university experience, and one thing that I really appreciate about the system here is that there's a constant flow of tests, and it's not always pushed at the end of the semester. It's not a big study session when you have to do everything in the end, and it feels like that through assignments and constant questions following lectures, it feels like I'm actually learning compared to just studying. And also a big thing for me is the multicultural environment, because like it can feel a bit overwhelming to be in a new country, but I'm meeting so many people from very different cultural backgrounds, and that's so helpful. Everyone is learning always from each other, and yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's exactly same, and I'm glad that you mentioned all of these and already talked about what is helping you to get adapted to the environment, and to just talk a little bit more in depth. I really like to share my thoughts about the phrase I'm sure you have heard about, science with Arctic attitude. For me, it was the golden formula of fitting in, because I personally see it as kind of mindset that people here have. And it's defined by hard work, being open to creativity, and also a sense of responsibility toward everything, and even environment, which is really, really matter here a lot. So this hardworking attitude with creativity and responsibility, these are things that I try to empower in myself so that I can fit in more easily. I really like to hear your thoughts about essentials, how to thrive here within this context.
So that phrase, science with Arctic attitude, I actually remember coming down the escalators at the airport in Oulu and seeing that on a big poster and sort of thinking, my goodness, I'm finally here, how exciting. To me, I think it means looking at things with a positive view. I think being in the Arctic, it's kind of very cold and very dark at times, and you could let that weigh heavily on you. The same as when you're studying, you could let the assignments and everything weigh really heavily on you. But if you look at it from a positive point of view and you try and see the positive in things, so where you want to get to with your studying and what your future career goals are and how what you're doing now can help you, I think that that's really important. So yeah, having a positive outlook on things, I think is key.
Yeah, and we are definitely going to talk about winter and coldness as well. What about you, Piero?
For me, the Arctic attitude is a very positive thing. I see that as the actual mindset of the university, and I see that as a warm thing because like there's a really close relationship between students and teacher, and it's always useful to know that you can you have someone to rely on. You can always text teacher if you need clarification about lectures, if you need anything about the exercises, and they're always available to answer all your questions. And another thing is that it's despite it being a big amount of study, it's always measured so that you don't have to stress about it. It's always a constant flow. If you find your own study methods and study plans, it's gonna be really easy to follow along.
I couldn't agree more. It is a really, really huge part of my experience as well, because it's really different from my country. Here, teachers are really approachable, and you are welcome to voice out your needs, your confusions, and it's a matter of you being open to talk about your needs and all the things that are happening. Because personally, before coming here, I didn't used to do that. I thought I should figure out everything by my own, but here you have the support system. Now let's move on to a topic that I'm sure you have a lot to say, sweet language of Finnish.
Oh.
How is your experience?
I started studying in the university this year with the survival Finnish class. And despite the language being very difficult, because coming from Italian, there's nothing in common. So I struggled with that at first, but like the teacher was very helpful, and the first class, the survival Finnish class, is structured so that you can learn the basic of living in Finland, of surviving in Finland. For example, how to talk to a cashier or how to ask for location of places. Apart from that, I really look forward to taking the other classes, the more advanced one, since the university offers classes from A0 level to the C2 level. I have some friends that are studying those, and they really love how it's structured, but I also plan to study a bit by myself about the language.
Best of luck. What about you, Sophie?
So I had tried to learn a little bit of Finnish before arriving. Some of the popular apps I tried, and I knew some vocabulary, but had no idea about lots of the grammar that goes on. And I actually came for the Kickstarter language course earlier on in the summer that's available for international students. And I found that was really helpful. Kind of having the intensive experience of lessons every day was really good to give me a good starting point in Finnish. But being here and being immersed in the language, I think, is the most important thing for me personally. I have a TV that I bought for my apartment, and I quite often put Finnish news on in the background, or Finnish children's TV shows. And just having it there all the time means that I can now recognize if it sounds right or sounds wrong. So when I'm in the classes, it's really helpful to have that knowledge of what it sounds like and how it is in the real world. And yeah, hearing it all the time, you pick up new words and new vocabulary. So definitely being immersed in Finnish was the way it's helped me learn more.
Yeah, and I really like that you already mentioned your experience, and they are kind of different. For me, my milestone during struggling at first with Finnish, to be honest, was that I find my own peace and my own pace and my own way to navigate around the language, because there are many wide range of choices that how you are going to study the language. And for me, it was self-studying, despite all of the choices within the university and within the city that are offering free classes. For me, was just sitting on my couch and browsing YouTube and enjoying media. But I really like to add that you can live with English easily here. Everybody, I can say almost everybody can speak and communicate in English fluently. So it's not a matter of worry, but it's really good to integrate more with a little knowledge of language. So I badly wanted to say winter is coming to add some drama and refer to Game of Thrones, but at the moment that we are talking, it's already winter. And how are you doing in the winter?
Well, it started to actually get cold, and I never lived in a minus 10 degrees environment. But if I have to say that I'm not struggling with it. It's really I'm really fine. I haven't seen snow yet. Like I haven't seen much snow yet, but yeah, you just need to wear more layers. I'm managing with thermals and a warm jacket. Yeah, it's really approachable. It's not that difficult. You just need to be mentally prepared for that. Just one thing that is starting to be hard is the dark hours, but with vitamins and everything, it's fine. It's fine. I don't love it, but I appreciate it.
Actually, you don't have to love it. It's a matter of acceptance, in my view.
Yeah, you mentioned about thermal layers. The phrase from Finnish people I've heard is there's no bad weather, just bad clothes. So definitely invest in some nice fluffy jumpers and some fleeces and some thermal layers. And the cold isn't too bad. And I think when it snows, it's the most beautiful place. So yeah, going out and not being afraid of the cold, I think is very important. And going and looking at how beautiful everywhere is. And embracing the cold, I think, is very important. And yeah, the dark isn't so bad. You need to just invest in a nice little LED lamp and get out and about, and don't try and stay inside your apartment for too long, I think is key.
Yeah, and I agree that winter is absolutely gorgeous here, and you can really enjoy it. And I like to add that if you really immerse yourself in winter activities, that will really help, because I think mindset matters in this topic a lot. And by winter activities, it can be a sport or just lighting up candles, for example. For me, it's really helpful. And to be honest, I didn't like every season back in my country, so there are hard times and easy times everywhere, I guess. And as you mentioned, you came in summer and you already could catch a glimpse of summer here because it's gorgeous. As winter is gorgeous, I believe other seasons like autumn or summer are really, really beautiful. How was your experience?
Yeah, so I arrived at the very beginning of August, so it was still summer and the sun was shining beautifully. It was really lovely because we got to do lots of activities like berry picking, going to the beach, bike riding around the city in the sunshine. And it sort of brings the whole city to life when the sun is shining. And I think it definitely is something that can help you get through those colder and darker days, because you can imagine the fun you're going to have in the summer and you know it's going to all be worth it. So I really enjoyed the summer in Oulu, definitely.
Yeah, and I think you couldn't experience it this year, but I guarantee that you are going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I came here in late summer, so I had just a few weeks of it. But like one thing that I noticed is that the city is completely different from summer to winter. It's a different kind of beauties, because like during summer when there's lots of sunshine, you can see things that you cannot notice during winter, the lake, the sunsets. But during winter, it's very different. You can see the snow, you can see the city center in its proper form, the parks, the environment overall. And one thing that I was stunned about was seeing a frozen lake for the first time in my life. It was a very awesome experience.
Yeah, exactly. Lakes are the best during all seasons. I really agree. And speaking of berries and lakes and bikes, let's talk about hobbies that I think they are crucial to find the balance here. As we already discussed, sometimes studying can be overwhelming. So finding your own activities that you enjoy really helps. Have you found anything that you enjoy here?
I haven't discovered anything new, but I rediscovered biking. I used to cycle, and it was something that I missed a lot all throughout high school. And here I found out like it's so easy to move around by bike. It's even faster than buses sometimes. So I bought a bike and I started using it basically every day. The infrastructure is so good. You can move around. You can, for example, bike from the university to the city center. It's 6 kilometers without ever crossing a main road. It's so safe to move here. So yeah, I really go for random bike rides everywhere, every time, and it's helping me not to lock myself into my house, to just go outside even if it's cold and breathe some fresh air.
Yeah, we share it in common. Bike is a really huge part of my life here as well, and the infrastructure is really good. No matter what is the season, no matter if it's snowy or rainy or what, it's always safe if you are well prepared. Mm-hmm. What about you? What are your activities that you enjoy?
I have two main hobbies. My first is the ice hockey. So I enjoyed the ice hockey back in the UK. So coming to Finland, I knew it was a really big deal here. So I was very excited to become involved with a Finnish ice hockey team. And there's a team here in Oulu. So I've been to a couple of their games. I have taken my friends to the student night that they had, where they had deals on the tickets for students, and introduced new people to ice hockey. So that was really exciting to get to share that with people who had never seen or heard of ice hockey before. And my second love is music. And I really like Finnish music, my favorite being Kääriä. And I have been to a few concerts here in Oulu, but I've also traveled further around Finland because it's so easy to get around on the train lines and it's relatively cheap compared to my experiences previously with traveling around countries. You can go to concerts anywhere and there's always things happening and there's always new artists doing concerts that you can just kind of pick up a ticket really cheaply to and go and find a new artist to enjoy. So I really like that, being able to access live music everywhere.
I really agree because there are some qualities that have been taken granted. For example, these discounts on different tickets from movies to symphony concerts, from trains to bus tickets. It's really helping a student and feels like you have support and you have been seen, your needs have been seen. And I personally haven't seen anywhere that people talk about it actually. Like the topic of moving around the city, I really agree that it's really easy and it makes really easy for you to decide to have fun and actually do it. If you want to meet up with your friends, it's just a matter of a call and 10 minutes of biking, or with the good public transport, you can get wherever you want really easily. So I'm really happy that we discussed it because I didn't have any idea that it would be like this before I come here. You already mentioned about traveling around Finland. I would love to hear if you actually have some experiences and how did it work out?
So I've been to Tampere and Helsinki. And previously I've been to different cities as well. And it's so easy to book trains and we get discounts as students. And it seems a little daunting to say that it's going to take 4 hours or 6 hours to get somewhere, but actually the trains are really comfortable and there's Wi-Fi on the train. So I have been sat doing assignments on the trains before, and it's so easy to get around, and the rest of Finland is really beautiful. So I definitely would recommend, if you come here, to take advantage of that great transport system to get around and to see different places in Finland.
Yeah, sure. What about you, Piero? Have you been anywhere else?
I haven't traveled by train yet, but I went to Tampere with my guild. We went on a guild trip and by bus, and then I went to Kuusamo, the national park, by car. And the infrastructure is really it's weird to drive or to be in a car where the view it's always the same, but you get pretty used to that, and it's not that 5 hours of driving of a car is not that bad. You can get used to it pretty easily. don't actually have to move around. There's everything I need here in Oulu, but if you want to, there are trains everywhere, every time, and there are very great discounts for students as well.
Yeah, exactly. And even with 1 hour of biking,
Yeah.
preferably in the summer. I haven't tried it in the winter, but in the summer with 1 hour biking, you could get to some really gorgeous places.
Yes.
So it's not that always you need to arrange a big trip or book tickets. With your bike, you can just be master of the roads here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really suggest that you try this summer to have tiny traveling experiences with bike. So let's wrap up our conversation, and I would love to hear your final words about the whole experience of living in Finland and in Oulu as a student.
So I feel very lucky to be here. I feel very grateful to have the opportunity to live elsewhere other than my home country. And I'm just very excited for the prospects of the education that I'm getting, the experiences I'm getting, the people that I'm meeting, and everything I'm getting to do. I just feel very fortunate, and I would definitely recommend traveling abroad and living abroad for anybody. Certainly if you're interested enough to kind of watch these videos, then go for it, because it's just makes you feel empowered and like you can do anything. And I think that's a really important feeling to feel in sort of this day and age. So yeah, I just feel lucky to be here, I think is my main comment.
My experience is overall really positive. I'm glad I took this choice, even though it was hard. Like rarely no one goes abroad for the bachelor, but I took this decision and I'm proud of it. Everything is better than what I had expected. Everything is so welcoming, so warm. Yeah, I love the environment. I will like definitely take this choice again.
It's really joyful to hear these from you. And if I want to share my own thoughts and wrap up my own experience, I would express my deep gratitude as well for having the chance of living here in this safe, beautiful, and clean city and country. These qualities may seem basic, but for me they are most important, because with these qualities you have inner peace whenever, even through challenges of immigration, that they are just there. More or less you will have challenges when you are immigrant, but these safety and this cleanness and people being kind allow you to feel welcomed. Thank you again for being here and sharing your experience. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope that our viewers enjoyed it as well. Thank you for watching this video, and hope to see you around.